Hey everybody! The makeup that I'm going to be doing today is a quarantine bridal makeup at home inspired by my friend Jen, who's getting married this Saturday. Okay, starting with the face, my skin's freshly washed with CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser, and I have on La Roche-Posay Moisturizer as well as an eye cream and some lip balm. I'm going in with MAC Face and Body Foundation and a Real Techniques complexion sponge, and I'm applying that all over my skin. As I blend this out, I'm careful to go on my ears, behind my ears, along my jawline, and blend the color down the neck, just to ensure that everything is seamless. What's great about this foundation is you can also layer it to increase the coverage, so you'll see me apply a couple of layers, especially in the center of my face. Okay, now I'm going to take the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer under my eyes. I really try to focus a lot of that color where my under eyes are the darkest. Putting a ton of product under the eyes can often change the color of your foundation and make it much too bright. So I try to keep the concealer pretty focused. And I also bring mine up the sides of my nose to kind of slim the bridge of my nose down. This is just a preference for me. Also going around my mouth and around my nose. These areas tend to get red when we cry, so I find it particularly important for weddings. And then I'm just going over a couple blemishes on my skin. Blending that out with my sponge, especially using the pointed end to get into my tear duct and inner corner of my eye. To avoid any creasing or movement of the under eye makeup throughout the day, I'm going to take my blending sponge into my Laura Mercier translucent powder and set my inner corner and under my eye, as well as the sides of my nose and my upper lip and chin, just areas where I tend to get oily throughout the day, and a lot of people do as well. I'm going to go in with my powder brush and a small amount of that powder again and kind of take it over the rest of my foundation just to set everything down. Now I'm baking the under eye using that same powder and my blending sponge, just sort of concentrating an amount of it under the eye. This is sort of to set our concealer and catch any fallout from the eyeshadows we're going to apply. After this, I'm taking a round Morphe blush brush and going into my Laura Mercier bronzer and contour color and starting in on my cheekbone. You want the color to be darkest back toward the hairline and lightest in the center of the face. I'm then going to bring that up into my temple and around the entire perimeter of my face and hairline. I tend to pay special attention to the hairline when I'm doing bridal hair and makeup because often the hair is pulled away from the face, so I tend to think this just makes it more flattering. I'm also taking this color beneath my jaw, or where I would like my jaw to be, rather, to provide some depth and shadow. Then I'm taking a small amount of that product I've been using on a powder brush and using it just to sort of blend all of the bronzing together. I'm then taking my sponge and more of my face powder and tracing a line underneath where I just sort of put that cheekbone contour in. This just sort of crispens and softens the edge and looks really great in photos. Taking an eye blending brush and that same bronzer color, I'm gonna go into my upper lid and crease. This is an eye brush, but because it's just sort of adding dimension to the eye, I sort of include it in with highlighting and contouring. Just starts the blending of your eyeshadows and makes it easier. Always making sure to pull up and out. Now I'm going into a custom Z palette that I made for Jen that has some MAC shadows, some Morphe shadows, and a MAC blush. Taking the dark plum color and this shimmery foiled color from Morphe, and a small eyeshadow packing brush, I'm going to place that deeper color on the outer corner of my eye, sort of just using the brush to guide me in an upward sort of winged motion. This doesn't have to be perfect because, as you can see now, I'm going to go in with a blending brush in small circular motions and diffuse out that color. So when you first place it in, don't be scared, it can look dark. And as you can see, I even had some fallout on my cheek, and I'm cleaning that up with a powder brush and my complexion sponge with some extra face powder on it. See, even people who have degrees in makeup make mistakes and drop their eyeshadow brushes, so don't sweat it. Okay, now taking a individual shadow from Urban Decay, this is Sin. I'm gonna take that on the same eyeshadow packing brush I just used, but I wiped off the dark color, and I'm putting this on my lid and inner corner. I have literally been using Sin since about the year, I think 2012, maybe. Whenever the Naked palette debuted, it was an essential in my kit, and I still use it for both eyes and highlighter. Okay, going back into that palette with more of that dark plum color onto my shading and blending brush, I'm just gonna take that and pounce a little bit over that outer corner just to reinforce. And as you can see, I'm always blending out, making sure that it's seamless. Taking my Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, I'm gonna work that through my brows backwards first and then smoothing them down, and then into my eyeshadow palette with my small angle brush. I'm gonna take the dark brown color and sort of define the tail of my brow, extending it just a little bit. Back into my palette with Soft Brown from MAC, I'm going to define the front of the brow and clean up with the beauty sponge and just sort of finish off the eyebrows. Okay, now I'm taking a Makeup Forever eye pencil. This is in a dark brown color and it's waterproof. I'm doing this voiceover the day after filming this, and I can tell you I still have a bit of this eyeliner on, so it's tested and approved for wedding lasting. And I'm gonna actually set over that just to ensure extra security with the dark brown and black eyeshadows mixed together. This will truly stay on through sweat, tears, dancing at a reception. It is my trick to doing bridal eyeliner. Now on a small defining eyeshadow brush, I'm going to take that soft brown color we used in the brows and swipe it about 3/4 under my eye. I don't use any cream products on the under eye for weddings because I find that they just tend to move when people get emotional. And I'm also taking an eyelash curler and giving my eyelashes a good curl. Okay, jabbing myself in the eye with the L'Oreal Hydro Fluge mascara. A waterproof mascara by L'Oreal, Million Lashes, that I love. I'm working that in kind of a side-to-side motion at the base of the lashes and then combing up and out. Now I'm getting ready to add some false lashes. These are Ardell Demi Wispies. Taking my pair of tweezers and some cuticle scissors, and I'm snipping off 2 of the large lash segments. This turns the eyelash into a 3/4 false lash, which I tend to find is more natural and more comfortable to wear for a long time. If you're a full lash kind of girl, I totally see that. Go ahead and skip this step, but for a lot of bridal makeup, I tend to use this and find that it works well. Just sort of using my tweezers to get that lash where I want it to be and placing the ends down. And then sort of pinching together and pushing up to make sure it's in the right spot. This definitely takes some practice, so don't sweat it if it doesn't go perfect the first time. Back into my palette, into my blush, which I believe is Flower Power by MAC, taking that same blush brush and putting a pretty good amount on my outer apple of my cheek and then blending it over. We've sort of already put the bronzer and buffing that into the skin. Okay, then we're going to take a highlighting brush and that Sin color again, and we're going to dust that over the high points of the cheeks and also a bit onto the apples. If this looks too intense for you, you can take your powder brush and sort of blend over the entire thing just to make sure it's smooth. Now I'm going to take Dervish by MAC, which is a lip liner, and I'm going to overdraw my top lip a bit. That's just a preference, and pretty much stick to just lining my lower lip. I'm going to finish that off with a Stila Liquid Lip in All Day Wear formula. This is me holding my little buzz cut down. Thanks, quarantine. Okay, who is she? So I slapped this wig on from my stock that sort of reminded me of my friend Jen's hair to do a quick demo on sort of how I might do her hair. So I'm going to start with the hair just sort of freshly washed, blown dry, and I'm raking a brush through it. I also have a teasing comb with me with a rat tail. I'm sending all of these things to Jen as well. Some dry shampoo in a brown color and some L'Oreal Elnet, which are my favorites. Okay, taking the rat tail, I'm going to really define my part. I'm actually going to spray the brush and sort of get any little flyaways that are at the hairline incorporated into that side of my hair. Now I'm going to brush that back behind my ear. As you can see, this wig is a little small for me, so my hairline is coming out at the side I'm pulling back, but live into the fantasy and play along. So now I'm taking a 1-inch curling iron. It sort of took me a minute to figure out exactly how I thought it was best to achieve this style of curl while doing it on yourself, because I don't do hair on myself very often. So I sort of started by keeping the iron vertical like this, but as you can see, it led to more of a loose wave and not sort of the vintage wave that I wanted. So the key to this kind of curl is you're sort of curling everything down and towards your face, which is counter to how a lot of people curl their hair today. And I also try to keep as much as I can. I try to keep my curling iron horizontal. I find this just gives more volume and more of kind of a vintage look, just a bit more formal. As you curl, I try to let each curl cool without breaking it up too much. If you're doing this right, you should sort of see the hair start to look a little bit shorter. Don't let this worry you. We're gonna brush it out at the end and soften everything up. Okay, once I'm done curling that side of my head, I'm gonna give this a pretty good mist with some of that Elnet hairspray, and I'm just gonna leave it, I'm not gonna touch it, and I'm gonna move on to the other side. So now I'm just sort of repeating the same process. I am still curling the front under and toward the face. We'll come back and refine the front at the end of the hairstyle, but just for now, I'm sort of getting some curl into the front layers, and then I'm going to work from the back moving forward to curl the rest of the hair. So now that I have everything curled, I'm going to spray that side with Elnet as well. Again, we're looking for all day hold, so I'm giving it a good mist. Taking my boar bristle brush again, I'm starting at the ends on the weak side of the part, and I'm brushing through that. I really give these curls a good brush. I think they look so much more elegant when they're not too Shirley Temple. There's me pointing out the fact that this wig doesn't cover my hairline. Now using a mattified brown bobby pin and some hairspray on my brush, I'm going to secure that side behind my ear and add in a decorative styling element. So I'm going to place this first bobby pin just going straight back and come in with the second one sort of going down, crisscrossing over it. This way the pins will sort of hide behind your ear and be not noticeable. And as you can see, I adjust with my fingers, finger comb the hair until it's laying how you want. And there I go with the second pin, just securing that going down. Now I'm going to take a rhinestone brooch, which is actually an extra left over from the production of King Kong that Jen and I met on. So I thought that was kind of fun, and I added that in on the side. Okay, we're gonna go to the other side, do the same thing, brush starting at the ends, going all the way up through the roots. And we're kind of starting to direct that front. You can see me sort of trying to flip it so it goes away a bit. Just kind of taking a minute to play with the hair and, get it to do what we want. So now, as you can see, I've sort of gotten it to where I wanted. It's falling away from the face, and I'm gonna give it a good spray up underneath so that no flyaways kind of come down into the face. Oh my gosh, look how stunning I am. Just kidding. My friend Jen will look 10 times more beautiful, I'm sure. Congratulations to her and her fiance. I wish them the absolute best. It's not the worst, but similar bridal, it's Bridie.